Warning. This podcast contains explicit sexual language and should only be listened to at work if you're looking for an excuse to connect with your HR representative. Additionally, all mentions of the word women include cis and trans women. If you are genderqueer, gender fluid, figuring it out, anything in between, and feel like this conversation is also important for you, you are welcome here.
Will you open up with me? These pages, they can feed your innermost desires. Do you feel inspired? Are you getting what you need? Are you coming curiously? A secret safe with me. And here you can simply be yourself. Jace reads romance. Come on in, come on in, come on.
Hi, y'all. This is Jace, and you found a book club episode of Jace Reads Romance. Fair warning, we will spoil everything. So if you are someone who doesn't like to have a book spoiled for them, press pause and come back to this episode at a later date. Hopefully you like the book just as much as we did. So far, we haven't read any books that we didn't like, so we've got a pretty good track record. Enjoy. Hi, y'all. This is Jace, she, they, and you have found Jace Reads Romance, a community dedicated to empowering women about sex and sexuality through the reading of romance novels. It is April, friends. April. And that means you get to hear all about the books that I read in the month of March. Are you ready? Yay! So Steffi knows this. And if you are watching at home, friends, I will be looking at my notes 80% of the time, which might not be interesting for you to watch, but it means we have a cohesive and coherent wrap up. So it's better for all of us this way.
And that makes Steffi happy, and that makes Michael happy.
And one of the goals in my life is to make Michael happy.
It's
and
true.
Since I do not possess any of the appendages, or I have possessed too many appendages for our wonderful editor, this is the only way that I can do that. Is make his life easier.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay, we are going to get started with some stats. I read 24 books in the month of March. I had a really big goal in March to focus on ARCs, advanced reader copies that I have been lucky enough to receive, to get access to. And these mean, for me, primarily ebooks, e-copies of books that have not been released yet. Some of them did come out in the month of March. I read them in March. They came out in March. But many of them are not coming out until later in the year. So that was a huge goal of mine. And I successfully read 10 ARCs in the month of March. I know. I was really excited about that.
That's impressive.
Thank you. I still have 18 to go.
Oh, God.
I do.
Oh, wow.
I do. I'm okay with that. But my physical goal, and I've been aiming for, in general, like statistically 8 to 9 a month. That was never going to happen this month because I had a goal of reading some of the thicker books that I have. So I, in my brain, aimed for 4 to 5 books, and I hit that. I hit 4 physical books, 20 ebooks, 0 audiobooks.
Hey, that is okay.
That happens. It's all right. I'm not mad about it. It is what it is. Statistically, for my stats, I had 10 of those books were written by people of color, which meant 41.67%. And 8 of those books were queer stories, which is 33.33%. So I did hit my diversity goals in the month of March. And I think we talked about this. This is a lag measure of books that I purchased, right? That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we're talking about February books. I actually have my stats for March. I was like really on top of it this month.
Way to go.
So I can share that. I'll share March purchased book stats at the end of this. February haul should be up by the time this podcast goes live. March haul will be up later in the month of April. In terms of my diversity goals, I was not as successful as I wanted to be. So, or as I aim to be in my life. These are all lag measures, which means that I'm analyzing this after the fact. I'm going to try and be more proactive as the month is progressing in the future of what I'm doing, what I'm buying. So at the end of the month, I'm not like, oh no, what happened?
Yeah.
These are lag measures. So they're what they are. But in the month of February, and do remember that I just went crazy. I bought 85 books. 34 books that I bought in February were written by people of color, which is a perfect 40%.
Nice.
But only 10 of those books were queer stories. So 11.76%. I did not hit my goal for queer stories. That's something for me to think about and something for me to look at as the year 2025 progresses. But I will share my March purchases at the end of this wrap up. 24 books. Here we go. I started off with Royal Heart by Nana Malone. This is one of the Black Rose Auction novels or novellas that Katie Roberts and Jenny Norbeck, I believe it is, put out last June as when I pledged. I got my physical books, but I read this as an ebook. And the reason I read this is I kind of forgot about them. Not gonna lie. And then I got an arc for a different Nana Malone book, and I wanted to kind of get a taste for her before I read the arc. So I could have a little bit of something to compare it to. This is an MF story, enemies to lovers, fake married. So they're pretending to be married, practice kissing so that they can be appropriately PDA'd in public. It's a heist story as well. There's a great My Wife. It's kind of second chance-y and forced proximity. So the MCs are Ari and Damon. I should also note that this is a 2.5 on the spice scale, mainly because it's a novella. So percentage-wise, a lot of spice. In terms of many scenes, it's not more spice than plot.
Yeah.
But it is a 2.5 because it's a novella. So Ari is the daughter of a thief. Damon was his apprentice. And while Damon and Ari's father were on a job, her dad was murdered. And so Ari has a lot of resentment toward Damon, not only because he was there when her dad was murdered, but because Ari really wanted to be her dad's apprentice. And her dad said no and tried to keep her away from his life of crime. Since then, Ari has in fact become a safe cracker, like not in practice, but like in the office for an insurance company. So she works with field teams to train them to recover objects that have been stolen by or for the insurance money or whatever it is.
Oh, okay.
Damon has gone pseudo legit. He's pushing his business legit, but he did continue to steal things after Ari's dad was killed. And his good friend says, hey, I'm a prince. And I'm guessing this is connected to a bigger Nana Malone world. So don't hold me to that, but it definitely has that feeling. Hey, I'm a prince. Crown jewels, this really important necklace, the Royal Heart, has been stolen and is up for auction at the Black Rose auction. I need you to steal it back for me. And so Ari and Damon go, posing as a couple, to steal back the necklace.
I like it.
It was fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't a bad book. It was a novella, so it's very fast, very quick.
Of course.
It was cute. The heist part was fine. There was a lot more action than I've seen in the other Black Rose auction tales. This one had a little bit more oomph to it in terms of plot. And it makes me want to keep reading them to see how everyone's kind of entering this world. So.
Yeah.
But then the next book was Deep Pockets, her arc, which is out now. This was another 2.5 on the spice scale, but it was a full-blown book. So Friends, a little bit spicier.
Yeah.
Another MF story. It is friends to lovers, age gap, best friend's sister. There's a good girl. The entire book is a fuck it moment. Let me just put that out there. The entire book is a fuck it moment. And it happens over and over and over again. They're like, no, boundaries. Fuck it. Like over and over and over again. There is a misunderstanding, a one bed kind of workplace-ish. It ends on a cliffhanger. And this is part of a series. This is connected to another series of her, which is multiple books about the same couple. This is a spin-off of that. You do not have to read the first series to understand this book. So this book is about Morgan and Lance. Morgan's sister / Lance's best friend was the FMC in the original, not the original, but the other series that this is a spin-off of. Morgan is the younger sister. She's always wanted Lance. Lance has always wanted Morgan, but there's a bit of an age gap. Mm-hmm. And when they knew each other, they were teenagers. And he was like, no, you're young. You're my best friend's sister. No, thank you. Morgan's father is incredibly controlling, borderline abusive. She's been going to FIT to study fashion. She has all of her fashion books. She has all of these clothes that she's made for her final showcase to get deals and get brand partnerships so that she can make it on her own. And he burns all of it.
What?
Burns everything. So she leaves her dad's house and she ends up crashing at her sister's townhouse, which is under construction. So she's sleeping like on a wooden plank. Lance finds her and is like, absolutely not, friend. You are coming to stay with me in my apartment, which only happens to be a 1-bedroom apartment with 1 bed.
Of course.
So and they're both stubborn as fuck, so they share the bed. Of
course. Is there like a pillow thing? Like
a pillow wall? Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's an absolute pillow wall because that works every time.
Every time.
And like, this is a bit suspensey where there's, how is Morgan going to finish her senior project? And does Lance's brother start to infiltrate his life and threaten his anonymity and threaten to expose him to the family? What's going on? Like I said, it ends on a cliffhanger.
Interesting.
So if you are someone who does not love cliffhangers, it's not going to be for you. If you need to wait until the next book comes out, I respect it because sometimes that emotional agony you just can't handle. Book number 3 is another arc. This is not out yet. It is Not Safe for Work by Nisha J. Tooley. 5 stars. 5 fucking stars.
I'm not even surprised.
2.5 spice. Oh my God, it was so good. This is about Triss and Rafe. I don't actually know if that's how you're supposed to say it, but that's how I'm saying it. It's an MF novel, rivals to lovers, workplace romance, 1 bed, forced proximity, fucking slow burn. I was annoyed as fuck. And she literally put this in her promotional material, forearms. This story, Triss is thirsty for forearms. I searched forearm. The word appears 8 times in this book.
Oh my God.
8 times in this book. So thirsty for forearms. I love it so much. And so Triss and Rafe work for the same company. Triss is, it's a science, it's in tech.
Okay.
And so she feels her gender. She also feels othered by her race. She is South Asian. And Rafe is the son of one of the C-level humans and was given a promotion that she absolutely should have been given. And so there's this weird rivalry. Like, she's always sassy to him. He's sassy back. And there's a leadership retreat that the company is hosting. It's a 2-week retreat in Hawaii. 2 people from each office will get selected to go. And Triss feels like, I've been here 5 years. I have not been promoted once. I am not being considered for anything. There's no way that I'm going on this. Right. There's no way I'm getting selected. Rafe is obviously the first selection. She is the second selection.
Mhm.
And she ends up demanding a bunch of stuff from Rafe's dad, essentially, in order to go on this because she understands that it's kind of bullshit. And they start to get to know each other,
Mhm.
and she discovers like all this tension between Rafe and his dad and what's going on and what's happening. And the thirst that these people have for one another is so good. I will also say that Nisha did an incredible job of sharing the experience of what it's like, what it was like in that field. She was in that field, and she dedicates this book to women in that field. So the next book, book 4, is Magic Dreams. This is another novella in the Kate Daniels world. So no spice in this novella, which, you know what? I save all of my no spice for Kate Daniels. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, you like the series whether it has spice or not, so that's fair.
This is my secret shame. I love this very spiceless series. This is actually Dolly and Jim's story. So Jim is someone that we've known from the first book. Dolly was introduced in an earlier book, and Jim is the head of the Cat Clan. He is the enforcer for the pack as a whole, and Dolly is Asa, a white tiger who is blind but loves to drag race. She also has magic and is incredibly knowledgeable about magic. And she has been pining for Jim, pining for him.
Ooh.
She loves him so much.
Aww.
It's so cute. And Jim gets in trouble. There's some magical bad shit. This is also MF, so it's PNR, slow burn, even though we don't see a burn. It's an adventure. Like every time Jim walks into the room when we only get Dolly's point of view, but her inner beast just goes, mate, mate, mate. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And she's like hiding, like holding back. So there's magic that's going on. Dolly is trying to help figure out what's happening and save everybody. And Jim gets hurt, and she's trying to protect him and heal him and all of this. And they do get together. But what I loved about that is I want to read the quote, honestly. So after like the adventure where Dolly saves Jim and she almost sacrifices herself and she works really hard, like Jim shows up with food for her. And if you haven't been following along the Kate Daniels world in the shifter culture, giving food is a sign of courtship. And so she is just floored. Like, what are you doing? And Jim says, the problem with being an alpha is that you can never make the first move. Makes you feel like you're taking advantage of your position. You have to wait until the other person decides they want in. And I was like, yeah, all people in power, that. Because even if you're not trying to coerce someone, you might inadvertently coerce them.
Yep.
You have to wait. And I loved it. I loved it so, I loved that moment so much. So much.
It's a great moment.
It's a great moment. I love Jim so hard. Okay. Next book was Legend Born. Y'all better fucking read this book. It is incredible. 5 stars. 5 stars, like hands down, like 6 stars. This is YA, no spice. I don't give a fuck. It was so good. This book, I think, needs to be taught in every high school because it did a better job of explaining gender inequality and race in this country than any book that I have had to read in my studies. And I had an English teacher who very much put a focus on telling stories of Black humans in America so that we understood the impact and the absolute atrocity that America has created and perpetuated and continues to perpetuate against Black humans. This does a better job of explaining it.
Wow.
And of showcasing it. And I feel like school systems could get away with being like, no, it's just a cute little fantasy about a 16-year-old girl. It's an Arthur retelling. It's harmless. No one on that board is going to read the book. There's no spice in there. There's nothing objectionable. It's Arthur, one of the whitest male-centered stories of Western culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you wouldn't know that it's going to teach and showcase and highlight without any fucking doubt the absolute shameful history and current experience of Black people in this country and women in this country. So it's about Bree. Bree is not our only point of view character, but Bree is the point of view character who is attending a pre-college experience on a college campus. So she's going to school for her senior year on a college campus in kind of this like college prep scenario. So it's not a private school, but it's on this campus in North Carolina. So she's a Black girl in this predominantly white institution, and she ends up discovering this secret society. Now, background on Bree, she's 16. Her mother died in a car crash just a few months ago. And the last thing she and her mother did was fight about Bree secretly applying to and getting accepted into this program. So Bree's got a lot of shit going on in her life, a lot of shit emotionally. Yeah. She's also there with her best friend, who is not Black, but is another woman another girl of color. So it's these two people of color in this predominantly white space. And Bree finds herself aware of this secret society where there is magic.
Oh.
And falls in with this real cinnamon roll of a human named Nick.
Yes.
And she discovers that the secret society is the descendants of Arthur and his 12 knights, or his 11 knights.
Knights of the Round Table.
Exactly. And they fight demons.
Oh.
And she can see demons. Like, she's not supposed to be able to see demons. Like, that's not a thing that lay people can do. And so but as she sees demons, she awakens this memory where she realizes someone put her under a magic spell, and it was the officer the night of her mother's death. So now she thinks her mother's death has something to do with the secret society. And so she wants to infiltrate it to discover these secrets. And Nick is part of it and sponsors her into this. And she has to go through all these trials to like be worthy of being. It's so good. It's so good.
Want to read it. Who is the author? Because I don't think you told us that.
Tracy Deonn. I have definitely mentioned it because I scream her name. It is a tetralogy. There will be 4 books. The 3rd book, Oathbound, just came out. So it is Legendborn, Bloodmarked, or Oathbound. And I don't know, honestly, if the 4th book has been announced with a title yet. Okay. It is incredible. The next book was Kiss Me Maybe. This is an arc. It is coming out soon. It is Gabriela Gamez's sophomore novel after The Next Best Fling, which is over there. This one was also weird. I had like weird feelings about The Next Best Fling. Part of the reason I was so excited for Kiss Me Maybe, even though I wasn't madly in love with The Next Best Fling, was that this is about Crystal. No, lies. This is the point of view of Crystal, the best friend, fellow librarian, who comes out as an asexual lesbian in The Next Best Fling.
Okay.
Yes, Next Best Fling. So I was really excited to have a Latina asexual lesbian be the point of view character in this traditionally published romance.
Yeah.
I found the storyline problematic.
Uh-oh.
Not problematic in like oh no, there's like bad shit. It's just weird. Like it just didn't blow. There was a
Oh,
moment when I
no.
was like, how much of this book do I have left?
Oh no.
I know. So we even meet the other FMC, Crystal, who's the bartender at the bar that Angela goes to. And so it's contemporary, it's friends to lovers. There's Ace Demi Rep. There's a lot of family drama. There's like Latina FMCs. But the story starts with Angela going viral on TikTok for coming out. And it's kind of problematic with her library. And she says she's never been kissed and she's never dated anyone. And so she essentially like jokes that she should date the internet and turns it into like a contesty, weird scavenger hunty thing where she's like trying to placate her followers online, but in the real world, she and Crystal are becoming friends and friendlier, and this crush that she's had on Crystal evolves into more and more feelings. But at the same time, she has to date the internet. Angela hasn't done anything with another human, and Crystal's like, what would you want to do? And it's really hot, but it's weird. Angela like verbally guides Crystal through masturbating in front of her. It's really hot, but it also is just like a weird moment. And then like they still haven't kissed. It's just odd. It's just like the whole thing is odd. And it's at some point I was like, I don't know, like, how is there so much book left in this moment? This book is definitely for someone, but I found that experience less than enjoyable.
Okay.
But I also want you to go read it and tell me your feelings, because I think there need to be more books about Latina asexual lesbians.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Go read this book, get it from the library, support this author, support this story. I just didn't like the way it was written.
Yeah.
Book number 7 is a secret book. I got to beta read a new book by an author that I've read from before. Like, it was really a fun experience to like get a book so early in its conception. And I will tell you more about that later, but it doesn't have a title. I'm not going to tell you the author, but it is book 2 in a series that I have read book 1 of. So keep that in mind.
That's exciting.
This was another arc. So I got to like beta read my first book. It was really exciting.
That is so exciting.
And then I went back to arcs, boring arcs. No, the arcs are never boring. Please don't.
Like walk that back.
No. But Hidden Roots is book 3 in the Citrus Cove series by Cleo Evans. I read the first 2 books in January. This is Emma and Hunter's story. It is also a 2.5 on the spice scale, and not because there isn't a lot of spice, it's because there's just so much plot. Though I do feel like this plot was like my least favorite of the 3. Just in terms of having a realistic bit of drama, like it didn't hit as hard as the first 2 books in terms of that drama. It is Emma and Hunter's story, as I said. Hunter is the oldest brother in this trio. Emma is the best friend of the first books, FMC Haley. Emma has her own history with a family, with a lot of power, money, and influence that she's kind of running away from. She has her own baggage emotionally. And she and Hunter have been at each other's throats since the first Zoom call they were on back in the first book. Now,
I remember you talking about that Zoom call.
I thought this was going to be like a legitimate, like annoyances to lovers. But Hunter in the beginning is like, I've never hated her. I've always been obsessed with her. And I'm like, really? Is that how we're playing this?
It's like that gif from Thor Ragnarok where Thor is sitting there talking to Bruce Banner. Is it though?
Yeah, Banner's like helpful? Is he though? Yes. I don't love it. I didn't love them. I'm like, oh, you're kind of a each other. Like, you don't get to call I have a crush on you. Like, I don't like that. It feels vaguely bullyish, and that's not my favorite.
Yeah.
So overall, it's small town, opposites attracts. It is a slow burn. There's kink because it's Cleo Evans. There's romantic suspense because it's this series, and it's a fake engagement.
Oh.
So Emma's ex-husband shows up on her doorstep and says, your dad died. You need to sell me his company. Also, we should get married again.
The audacity.
So much audacity. Like I said, like there's a lot of kink because it's Cleo Evans and it's this series. And it does end, and I'm not mad that they're together. I just was like, this is the way you're gonna make it happen? I enjoyed it. We got there in the end. Hunter is a good character. Emma's a good character. They're very cute together. But I would have done it differently. Oh, did I go back to Ilona Andrews afterwards? Yes, I did. Magic slays. We're back to Kate. It's a 1 spice, lightly spiced, like really a 0.5. Kate and Curran are the main characters. Kate is our point of view character. So it's PNR, it's their mates. They're already mates. They're living together. It's happening. Oh, this is like for Kate Daniels, it's basically the same like general relationship shit. So I have to write the actual plot in my note section. And my note is, this is where the anti-magic machine was built. Yeah. So this anti-magic machine gets built that basically sucks up all the magic, which means anyone who has magical powers dies immediately. And they're trying to stop this secret organization from setting off the much bigger one that has been secretly built. It's high drama, high stakes, and I love them.
I know you do.
That's all. That's all. I just wish there was more spice.
Yeah.
Next book is another arc, and this is a bit of a disappointing arc. It's like really been a hit or miss month, y'all. This is Mrs. V's Hot Girl Summer. It's by A.H. Cunningham, who I like. I read Plie, I read A Turn in the Air. I like A.H. Cunningham. I did not like this book.
Oh no.
This book is for someone, it was the writing style for me, which is so frustrating. Yeah. So it's a 2 spice on the scale. It's a small book too. I think it's less than 300 pages. It's like 220 pages.
So it's almost a novella.
It's almost a novella, which might be why I had such a hard time with this writing style, because I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? But it's Trinidad and Orlando. It's MF, Afro-Latina, both of them. There's an age gap. Trinidad is older, forced proximity, parent trap situation. She's a single mom. There's also squirting, but like they don't mention it. They're just like, she left a puddle on the floor and there's going to be water damage. I was like, no one's going to acknowledge that she just squirted, my friends. Like, that's not, can we live in this moment for a while? So Trinidad is a single mom. She's got 2 15-year-old twins. They participate in this mentorship program, and their mentor is Orlando, who is in his mid-20s. He's been the sole breadwinner and really the head of his household. His mom suffers from depression. His siblings are kind of fuckwits, and he took on the brunt of the family shit so that his brothers could like have a normal childhood. I'm like, well, dude, you didn't.
Yeah.
Orlando's a great guy. He and Trinidad like flirt real good. He calls her Trin sometimes.
That's cute.
And her sons parent trap her by saying, oh, we've got this competition. They're in cheerleading. Their dad doesn't support them, but like Trinidad does.
Of course.
I fly to Florida to go to this cheerleading thing for you. Absolutely. They make the reservations. They get her down there. Turns out there is no competition. It's carnival. And in this town that is made up, and I wish this town was not made up, but in this town, and there's nowhere for her to stay. They didn't make a hotel reservation for her. They're like, oh, isn't Orlando there? Do we happen to have his address? Should you just show up at his vacation rental?
Okay, I'm not usually big on like a Parent Trap situation, but that's
a good one. It's a good one.
And it's pretty good. Yeah.
There's so many things going for this. It just was how it was written that I did not enjoy.
Oh, that's so frustrating.
Hey, speaking of books that missed the mark, this is another arc. Mrs. V's Heart Girl Summer comes out in April. This next arc already came out. It's The Rival of the Crown. It's book 3 in the Veiled Kingdom series. I love the Veiled Kingdom, but you know what you shouldn't read? Any book after the Veiled Kingdom. Book 2 was such a book 2, and they were in the forest for far too long, and basically nothing happened. It was like reading Tolkien. They just walked. It is a 2 spice because there's a bit of spice. It's Verena and Dacre. It's this exact same couple. But like, whereas nothing happened in the second book, it was like everything needed to happen in this book. There was one scene where 4 different things got revealed.
What?
Why? Honestly, if the first 20 to 25% of this book got added to the second book, we still would have ended on a cliffhanger. We still would have had drama, but we would have had an enjoyable, actually worth my time second book, and we would have had space to breathe and be in the third book. I don't necessarily think that all the reveals needed to happen. The prophecy had no meaning. No meaning. Literally did not care. Added nothing to the story. But so, like, if you really wanted it,
you have to make it need space. Something.
They also talked about how, like, now that I'm ruining the second book. Sorry, I'm ruining
everything. Gets ruined on the wrap-ups. They know this by now.
Like, they know this. There is a warning. So they talk now that they're mated, that they're aware of it, and they perform this bonding ceremony, that their magics are intertwined. Do you want to know what they never mention? What his magic is. Do you want to know what I completely forgot? Still don't remember to this moment. He has 2 magics. He has healing, which is a big deal because in the first book, he like doesn't heal anymore after he couldn't save his mom, which is a very sad moment. And
that
like,
is
I should give it its due because The Veiled Kingdom is an awesome book. But you want to know what's not mentioned in this book at all? What Dacre's other magic power is. I still don't know. It just did not stick the landing. But I did read Pucking Sweet, and that redeemed so many things.
I know.
It is a 3 on the spice scale, and people are like, "There's a lot of sex in Pucking Sweet. Why is it only a 3? Because it's 700 pages.
It's a big book.
700 pages, and the percentage of it isn't spice. Even though a lot of it is spice, even though there's a lot of spice, it just like it's not as big a percentage when it's over 700 pages.
Right.
This is Poppy, Colton, and Lucas's story. It is MMF, my favorite, the best. I haven't decided which one I want. I think it should just be my favorite because what is best? What is best? For me, it is my favorite.
Yeah.
Now, my problem, and I don't love this whenever it happens. So I have the same issue with Scythe and Sparrow that I'm having in this moment is this story takes place at the same time as both.
Yeah.
Pucking Around and Pucking Wild.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, I don't remember those other 2 books chronologically as well. So I'm like, really? That happened? But because it's also from a different perspective.
Right.
So I don't love those moments when everything like comes together because I'm like, is this it? Does this feel right to you? There is. So let me just go through the tropes. It's workplace romance, bi awakening, sports romance, hockey book boyfriend, good girl, light kink, question mark. It's not like official kink, so it's like question mark, but she does get tied up. This is where bondage is like, it's not kinky. She's just tied up. Secret romance, family drama, injury, accidental pregnancy, good boy / good girl. There's one of each.
Ooh, I like that one.
There's more than one of both of them, but we have both in there. Now, I knew that this was accidental pregnancy, and I was really nervous about it because of the current political climate and my personal feelings. I do wish that there had been a moment of what am I going to do? But at the time of the accidental pregnancy, Poppy was in an established exclusive relationship with both Colton and Lucas. So it didn't feel like, who will I raise this baby with? Like she's going to raise it with her boyfriends, like the people that she loves, that she's building a future with. Yeah. I do wish they'd had a moment of like, do we want this to happen now?
Yeah. Just had that conversation, because it probably would have been nice to see, especially with the current political climate and all of that.
It would have been nice to see.
Yeah, just as a way to show readers like, hey, this is a thing you can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, regardless of the outcome, like, this is an option you should have.
Exactly.
This is a decision that you get to make.
Yeah.
So I fucking loved it. So Poppy, if you don't know, is head of PR for the Jacksonville Rays. Colton and Lucas are both players on the Rays. Poppy comes from this DC royalty family and is now the black sheep because she left DC and a man at the altar to pursue her PR career. Colton has been pining for her for years and in fact followed her from their last team to the Jacksonville Rays. And Lucas is a fuckboy. That's all I got. Lucas is a fuckboy.
Lucas is a fuckboy.
Lucas is a fuckboy. But Lucas and Colton are best friends. They are incredibly close. They have another who's your emergency contact moment, like do in one of the Pucking Ever Afters, in which between the Price family. It's really sweet. They both want to date Poppy. They both start dating Poppy, and then they realize they both kind of like each other too. It's lovely. There's nothing wrong with it. I fucking love this series. This next fever dream of a novella was Airpeen. It's a 4 on the spice scale because it's just spice.
That's all it is.
The plot, I probably should be a 5, but I can't justify giving this a worthwhile 5. Like I can't give it a 5. The plot is the spice, but I just can't justify giving it a 5 because I hate it. So I don't even remember what the female character's name is. I don't know. I don't want to know. My notes are sentient object. That's it. But the actual plot is girl is coming home from a business trip and treats herself to the executive level of flying on this aircraft. So she's like, it's first class. It's going to be nice and cushy and wonderful. No, what it actually means is the chairs come to life and fuck you.
What? Y'all, Jason, tell me any of this. I am hearing it with you. What?
I have kept this a secret.
I'm sorry. What?
So she gets triple teamed by 3 different chairs. And this is happening in front of everyone else in the cabin. Like everyone's just like getting fucked by the chairs in the cabin.
I don't even know what to do about this.
There's nothing to do.
Oh my God.
It just is. 5 stars. All superheroes need PR. This is an arc. Comes out next month by Elizabeth Stevens. You will know Elizabeth Stevens' name because she wrote Dark City Omega, which I was obsessed with last year.
Yes.
This book is incredible. 5 stars. Only 1.5 spices. Only 1.5. It is Vanessa and Roland and MF. Here are the tropes. It's aliens, workplace, fake dating, forced proximity, one bed, hurt, heal. So much representation of so many different peoples. Hates everyone but you, secrets. And I should also say superheroes, but that goes there.
Kind of goes without the superheroes.
Yeah. So Vanessa, beautiful Black woman, owns a PR company, has massive anxiety. And in this world, 42 alien children crash landed and have been raised in the world. And when they come of age, they can just continue living. They all have superpowers too, different superpowers. Or they can become superheroes or supervillains. Superheroes and supervillains are all alien children. Like all of these alien children.
Okay.
And a new alien named Pyro, aka Roland. The nickname is Pyro, and then they change it to, oh, what is the dragon-like thing with only 2 arms, like Griffin or something like that?
Wyvern.
Wyvern. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh my god, you nerd. They changed it to Wyvern, but Roland is this alien, and the superheroes are managed by PR companies. And Vanessa's company is boutique. It's small, but they pitch and they get a bid for it. So they are about to have their first meeting with Roland and the superhero company CEO. And Roland walks in and is like, I hate you. What's going on? And makes her trip and catches her. And she's like, what is this absolute intensity? I'm losing my ever-loving mind. And then they go out for drinks as a company. Her company like clearly doesn't get the bid because Roland is like, I hate you, you're weird, and walks out.
Right.
And they're like, well, that sucked.
Yeah.
She gets hammered. He shows up at the bar. She throws up on him. And then he flies her back to her house. Her parents' house, not even her house.
Her parents' house
somehow. Somehow he gets her parents' address and ends up, it's very funny. It's absolutely hysterical.
Oh my gosh.
And then he's like, we're going to work together. What? And so CEO shows up and is like, okay, Roland showed up at my house and woke me up and says he wants to work with you. So we need an actual contract drawn up.
Yeah.
And she's like, I feel like there's a secret something that I'm not getting here, but I'm going to work with it. And at the meeting to sign the contract and get all the paperwork done, Roland's like, so she's my wife now. And everyone's like, what?
What?
Because in the contract, there is what they call a Lois Lane clause. And the CEO was like, you'll do anything that, like the one-on-one stuff that he needs, like not his assistant or anything, but you'll be his liaison.
Right.
And when they were going over the paperwork, she's like, a Lois Lane is not a single job. It's a Lois Lane. They're going to work with a PR rep of their own. They're going to be doing all these things. Like a Lois Lane is its own little world.
Right.
So I'm not Lois Lane. They call it a Lois Lane contract where you're a fake girlfriend.
Which
and Roland's
I kind of love.
I love it. Like it's a modern world and they've got so many modern references, including superhero stuff, but it's aliens. It's so funny.
I love
and
it.
Roland's like, no, I want you to be my wife. And she's like, I don't, okay. Next book. Oh, another great one. It's out now, but I got an arc for Sweet Obsession by Katie Robert, which is book number 8 in the Dark Olympus series. It's not called the Neon God series. It's called Dark Olympus. This is an MM novel. It is a 2 on the spice scale, and it is Poseidon and Icarus, who are 2 characters that Poseidon's been around the whole time, but always been on his own, doing his own thing. Icarus came into the city with Minos. He is Ariadne's brother. At the end of, Dark Restraint, Icarus has saved Ariadne. Oh, Icarus was about to be shot by his dad. Ariadne shot their dad instead. And then when Poseidon showed up to stop Ariadne and Icarus and the Minotaur from fleeing on a boat, Icarus held like a gun, I think, to Poseidon and then threw them both into the ocean so that Ariadne and the Minotaur could escape. Yeah. So Icarus is now like, oh my gosh, it's so great. Here are the tropes. It's Greek myth inspired, duh, even though Icarus and Poseidon don't have a thing. Yeah. It's captor captive, one bed, hurt heel, ginger. I love a ginger man. There is some kink in here. New to kink, negotiations, and protection. So sexy and so
I love that list.
So Poseidon takes Icarus hostage and like understands immediately that there are some weird ass power dynamics, but Icarus is a fuckboy, but a fuckboy with a plan. He's been collecting blackmail material from everyone in Crete. Crete? No, Aeneas. It's too many vowels in that word. It's true. Too many. And it's too many vowels. And so he's like, I'm going to seduce Poseidon to get protection. And Poseidon's like, I could never. The power dynamics, it's too out of balance. even though I'm very attracted to you. And then there's this moment, and Poseidon's like a massive dude. He's plus size. They talk about like his beautiful like belly and chest. I'm like, love you. Also, you're a ginger.
I love
where
that.
Icarus grabs Poseidon's hair, and Poseidon, like he's just trying to seduce him a little bit, but he grabs Poseidon's hair and Poseidon's knees buckle.
Okay, that's hot.
And Icarus is like, and Poseidon's like, I have never experimented with kink. Oh my God. And Icarus is like, what? And so Icarus tops Poseidon. So great. They're great conversations. It is just unbelievable. I literally cried at the end of this book. This is a book that was okay. The next one, book number 16. It was Drag Me Up by R.M. Virtues. This is my first R.M. Virtues book. I maybe should have started with the R.M. Virtues novella from the Black Rose auction, but I didn't, because this book of theirs, or his, I'm not sure, was on the Trans Rights Readathon master list. So I was very intrigued.
Yeah.
Because it was Trans Rights Readathon. It was a 3 on the spice scale, but it was also a pretty short book. It is MF Hades Persephone retelling, also why I wanted to read it.
Yep.
But the tropes of this are trans love, trans mask, trans femme, Greek myth inspired, workplace suspense-ish, secret dating, family drama, spicy as fuck, kink, black love, and there's also an FFM scene.
Wow.
Now, the reason, and I gave it a 4, but I keep thinking about this one thing that annoyed me, or that I wish had been there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a list of how everyone's related, because enough was changed from the Greek myths to this story that I wasn't sure how everybody related to each other.
I got you.
And that made it very confusing at times.
I got you.
Like, are you actually Zeus's son? Are you his stepson? How are you related to Persephone? Are you friends? Are you cousins? Like, I got really confused. And even now thinking about it, I'm like, I still don't know how some of these people like fit into the story. But I really liked it. There's no magic, but there is this island that's kind of divided into sections. And while Zeus runs it, he has his own section, like Hades has his own section, and all these other people have sections, but it's also not who you would think has sections, which is why I'm like, okay, interesting. Hades runs his section. There's a casino, and the casino is like where everyone goes. It's kind of neutral territory. Hades is Zeus's stepbrother and has become his kind of enforcer, the dark shadow, the boogeyman to Zeus's rule. Persephone is a performer. She dances, she does silks, and she has been hired to be the lead in a show happening at the casino. Hades sees her in the opening performance and is like, oh my gosh, I'm in love. Like, not in love, but like, I'm obsessed. I want to have drinks with you. I want to meet you. I want to talk to you. We find out that Persephone is trans. That has been a huge thing with her mom and like her transition. And her best friend Aphrodite is also trans. Like, everyone in this book is trans. It is a story of trans love. And
awesome.
She also has a history with Zeus. Zeus was a secret benefactor that paid for her to go to college, and now he's basically stalking her. They've never dated, they've never had a physical relationship, but he keeps bothering her. He is also married, like as Zeus is.
Yeah.
But he's bothering her and stalking her, and it's making her very uncomfortable. She and Hades have this connection, and they go on a date, and she's like, I should really tell you that I'm trans. And he says, that is something we share.
Oh.
This next book is another arc. It was And They Were Roommates by Paige Powers. This book comes out in May. It is adorable. There is zero spice because it is YA. However, It is an MM romance. MM romance. Trans love, trans mask, YA, forced proximity, roommates, academy, hidden identity, found family.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love all of that.
So Charlie is, can you like see me basically stimming?
Yes. Yes, I can.
Swishing back and forth. Thanks, friends. I'm just gonna keep doing this because it makes me comfortable.
Good.
Charlie is our point of view character, and Charlie has been accepted into Valentine Academy, this elite school. I should note, the school is problematic. If you're looking for an unproblematic school, it is not this one.
Uh-oh.
There's a lot of shit that you just have to suspend your disbelief on. Like, wouldn't Charlie get an orientation so he knows where everything is? Wouldn't Charlie get to school a couple days before classes start? Wouldn't all of these other things happen? But no, they don't. So it's problematic.
Okay.
Charlie has been accepted. He was accepted as a freshman and said no because he was transitioning. So he took the year to transition, and a spot did open up for him to come in as a sophomore. He is applied for, and as he understands it, paid for a single room. But when he gets there, nope. Double it is. And there is no official policy about trans students at Valentine Academy. So this is a big deal. Yeah. When he gets to his room, he discovers that his roommate is not a random person, but the boy that he met at a summer camp 2 years ago who kissed him and then he found out was sending love letters to other girls at camp. This is all before Charlie transitioned. Right. So Charlie's like, fuck. The one person who might recognize me and understand that I've transitioned and expose me and also broke my heart is now my roommate.
Oh no.
Charlie was planning to lay low and just like keep his head down, nose to the grindstone, because again, at this academy, problematic things. If you are a scholarship kid like he is, you have to rank in the top 5 of the students, or you lose your scholarship. And they're updated every week, and the top 5 in each class get like extra privileges. It's a real healthy environment, I'm sure.
Oof.
This next book, novella, didn't make sense. It was Helping Hands by Jane Northcote. I was looking for trans rights readathon books. They have a massive document, and I specifically looked for things with sexual content as part of their notes. I like what I like, friends.
No shame.
So this is it's a 3 on the spice scale.
Okay.
But it's a friends to lovers, roommates by awakening secret hookup.
Wow.
So it's these 2 dudes, Jazz and Mac, are roommates in this house of many roommates, like you do in college.
Yeah.
And Jazz overdraft his bank account, and so his parents were like, you have to get a job and you can't spend money, so he's like not going out and partying. And Mac was partying too much and got behind and like didn't do well in some of his classes.
Yeah.
So they are both now not partying, and so they're spending a lot of time together not partying. Yeah, no, not partying. And then Jazz, who went to like an all-boys school at one point, they were watching a movie and he's like, I'm hard. I want to wank off. Why don't we wank off together? Because apparently that's not weird. I don't know. So they start like going into each other's room to watch porn and jerk themselves off. And then it turns into jerking each other off and secretly hooking up. But like they're definitely straight friends. It's odd, but spicy. And eventually they date and it's fine. But like, it's just
interesting.
There's really not that much to it. There's really not much to it.
Got it.
Odd. The next book is The Spare by Ava Ronnie. I saw Ava at Love Y'all so eloquent, so fun. And then I got the third book in this series as an arc. If I got the third book, I really needed to read the first two. So this is the first book, The Spare. It is a 2.5 on the spice scale. Like once it spices, it's just like constant spice.
Okay.
It feels a lot like the Kat Singleton book, like Black Ties and White Lies. Like once they spice, they're just like, and there shall be spice in every chapter from here on out. I'm not mad about it.
Right.
It is MF, billionaire, Desi FMC, best friend's brother, secret dating, mutual pining, friends to lovers. So we have Sloane and Marcus. Sloane is best friend with Xander, Marcus's brother, and Marcus is best friend with Sloane's brother, whose name I cannot remember. Doesn't matter.
No.
Doesn't matter. So there's this like quad. They're all really close. They're all really good friends.
Mhm.
And Marcus, no, not Marcus. Yes, Marcus. And Marcus built this company and has been living abroad for the last 2 years. And it's been really awful for Xander and for Sloane's brother. They feel very abandoned by Marcus,
Mhm.
but he's coming back. And Sloane has been pining for him for years. And it turns out that Marcus has been pining for her for years. And a
Ooh.
big part of the reason why he left was because he couldn't handle the wanting of her
And not being able to have her.
and not being able to have her. And he's wrapping up business in London before he moves back to New York. Sloane is a lawyer and she gets an assignment in London for 6 months. So then they're in London together.
Mhm.
And they start secretly hooking up dating. It's like real hard, real fast. Like the minute that they hook up, they're like forever, forever, ever, forever, ever. Like it's immediate. And there's a lot of like behind the scenes drama. Sloane's brother has been groomed to be the CEO of their family's company, and she doesn't really want it, but she like has always wanted to be in consideration for it. But he has a bad reputation because the paparazzi follows him and he's kind of like blonde model ballerina bimbo fodder, dating a different one every week. And so there are a lot of machinations happening behind the scenes about this company and the relationship, and Sloane and her brother's relationship is tense because of that. And Marcus's relationship is tense because of that. And Sloane has a lot of baggage. So she's half English, half Desi. She never feels like she belonged. She tried to be a debutante and she's not white enough for that. She doesn't feel like she's necessarily Desi enough or Indian enough. And she, in fact, had a really hard time with her given name, which was Sanvi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. And had her parents switch her first name to her middle name. And so she took this very Indian first name and made it her middle name because she was having so many problems. It's like very much an identity and like, how do I feel like I belong? It was great. It was great.
I like that.
I know.
That's
And
really interesting.
I will say that like billionaire in general is not my thing
Mhm.
because I'm kind of like meh about billionaires.
Mm.
But I will say that Marcus is great at the personal gestures and gifts. So he buys her like first editions of her favorite book. She's always wanted to race. His parents died in a car accident. And so like racing is definitely not a thing for him. But he like buys out a track for her to like be in an F1 car and get driven around on a track.
It's got meaning behind what he gets her.
It's
Okay.
super meaningful, super kind. I love it. There's also no drama with Xander. Like Xander's like, yeah, date. It's great. I just don't want to hear about it.
Good.
He's so great. So Gunmetal Magic is another novella. It is a 1 on the spice scale. It's Andrea and Raphael. And this was interesting with the next novella in this. So it's PNR. They're reconciling. So it's
Okay.
reconciliation / second chance-ish,
Mhm.
shifters and mates. So Andrea is Kate's best friend. Raphael and she were mates. He pursued her for like 6 months real hard and they eventually started dating. And then when Andrea was outed as a shifter to the order, her job, she was given 10 minutes to pack her things and go to like deal with this at the order.
Okay.
And Raphael's like, you abandoned me. So there's a lot of like abandonment on the two of them. And she's like, you didn't wait for me.
Yeah.
So Andrea is coming to terms with the fact that she is out now as a shifter. Raphael is, and like, they're both like hurting each other. They're both like mad and angry and hurt and hurting. So like hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
But a bunch of Raphael's employees get murdered, and Jim from before is hires Andrea to kind of deal with it. So she has to engage with Raphael. And they have not been speaking to each other for the last couple months since she came back from being forcibly retired from the order. It's really bad news, bears.
Oh no.
It's really sweet. They're very angry at each other. They're very, very big feelings, burn hot. And it was really nice to like get them together in the end. Now, the next novella I read was Magic Gifts, and this is Kate and Curran, but it kind of happens at the same time as Gunmetal Magic. It's just, here's why Kate and Curran aren't involved in what's happening in Gunmetal Magic until the very end. And so that novella, there's a boy who gets a magical necklace put on his throat, and it's slowly killing him. And so Kate and Curran are like running around the city trying to like, or the area of Georgia, like trying to find the cure for this and how to get it off him. It's a much shorter novella than Gunmetal Magic, but it was also very sweet. I like this world a lot. I like it a lot.
Yes, you do.
Then I read A Gentleman's Gentleman by TJ Alexander. Oh, also, like there was zero spice in Magic Gifts. There's zero spice in Magic Gifts.
Yeah.
And I still liked it. But A Gentleman's Gentleman, TJ Alexander, I can't believe you. You hooked me with another like 98% slow burn book. So it's only a 1. It's like barely a 1, but it's a 1.
My gosh.
I thought after reading Triple Sec, like we were going to get more spice. No,
right.
98%. I'm salty.
I couldn't tell.
It is an MM story, trans love, hidden identity, forbidden romance, queer romance, boss employee, historical fiction, slow burn. And I am going to ruin the plot twist that had me gasping out loud. Christopher is our point of view character. Christopher is a man of unusual make. He is living in his family's estate with only 2 servants, so the estate is crumbling. And he learns from his lawyers that according to his father's will, he has to be married by the age of 25 or he loses everything. So he's like, shit, I guess I better find a wife who's understanding of the fact that I don't like women and I can't give you children. And in order to do this, he says, I guess I need a valet. Lawyers, hire me a valet. So James appears. Harding is usually what he's called because last name situation. Harding appears, and Harding is beautiful and dour and serious. And Christopher is eccentric and only wears like the lightest of colors. But Harding is determined, James is determined to help him. They go to London. James is trying to find him a person to marry that will satisfy these requirements of the woman has to understand that there's no love and no children. And so Harding tries to set him up with this woman who it turns out that Christopher's friend is in love with, and she is in love with Christopher's friends, but her father won't let them marry. So Christopher and James enact a secret plan to like have them elope to Gretna Green. And the thing about this woman is she's under really strict watch by her dad because 10 years ago, her older sister ran away and they thought that she was eloping to Gretna Green, but she was never heard from again. So they think she was actually murdered. And like, it's a huge deal. I know. Huge deal. So after, obviously Christopher does not marry this girl, James is like, what are we going to do? And then like one of the 2 servants that Christopher has falls ill. And so Christopher and James like rush back to his estate where on his deathbed, this servant confesses that he's known all along. Oh my God.
You were getting teary.
that Christopher is actually the twin sister. So he was a twin, and his family was living in Philadelphia. Their parents died, and on their way back, their ship was in a wreck. And Christopher's brother died. And after that moment, Christopher took on his brother's identity so he could live as himself.
What?
I know, like really heavy. I know, so beautiful. So like that's how he's been living as a man, even though he was born this other human. And his servant confesses that he's always known who he was. And he says, like, I've protected you as best as I could, and now you're on your own. And Christopher's like, what? And the servant says, you always lick the sugar off your morning buns. Your brother never did that. I'm like weeping.
You are.
I can't ruin the makeup. Like, it's just such a, and he's so sad, and he like goes out for this horseback ride with James, and they're soaking wet, and he's like, I need someone to know who I am, James, like you've been such a good confidant. I need to tell you like that I was born in this other body. And James has this like stricken look upon his face. And Christopher's like, oh no, what's about to happen? And James takes off his shirt to reveal bandages binding his chest. And it turns out that James is the sister of the woman who ran away and has been living as his authentic self ever since.
What?
As a valet. I know! That is the plot twist.
Oh my God!
I know. I know.
I need to read it.
It's so great. It's so great. This was not as good a book. Iron and Velvet by Alexis Hall, which I think like Alexis Hall has written some great books. A Lady for a Duke, one of my favorites. Boyfriend Material, decent. Husband Material, DNF'd. But this was before they got picked up by Trad. It is, I guess, a 2 on the spice scale. This book was like 240 pages, and I was like, this is too long.
Oh no.
So it's basically like Jessica Jones PNR style. So we have Kate, who is a PI. She's like half fairy queen, but we don't really understand her powers. And her, like, here's the problem. If you're doing PNR, you have to explain shit. And nothing is explained. This world makes no sense. You've introduced too many different kinds of PNR characters that don't make sense because you haven't explained any of it. So there are vampires and fairies and werewolves and sentient or statues that are brought to light. Like it doesn't make sense. And so I don't like it. I didn't enjoy it.
It makes me think of the Harry Dresden books by Jim Butcher. He's a wizard based in Chicago. It's PNR. There is romance in there, but each book in the Harry Dresden Files series deals with a specific like species or people that is paranormal and focuses on them, goes in detail on that group of persons.
I get
that it can explain them.
Yeah. And witches. I forgot witches. Also, it's an FF novel. So it's Kate and Julian, but Julian is a girl.
Okay.
She is the Prince of Cups, which is like one of the head vampires. They're like 4 head vampires.
Okay.
And it just didn't make sense. It was too complicated, too many twists and turns and things and like moments that I'm like, so there's normal magic and there's blood magic and you're in a fairy realm, but you're not in a fairy realm, but you have powers sometimes, but you don't have powers. I also don't understand how you fell in love with Julian. Like how you're like, no, and I mean like the joke is like, you're a lesbian. Of course, you have sex once and now you're dating, but like now you're in a committed long-term relationship. But like, that's not actually how it works, friends.
No.
So I did not enjoy this. And I'm glad it is over. The last thing that I read in March is The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. This is a short story that she wrote. It's very cute. There's no spice. It is Charlotte and Seth. It is neighbors. It's MF, neighbors to lovers, forced proximity, romantic suspense, and a cinnamon roll MMC. So Seth and Charlotte are neighbors. They live in this like 2-story complex. And it's one of those complexes where there's a central staircase and there are 2 apartments on the bottom and 2 apartments on the top.
Okay.
And Seth wakes up one morning and goes outside to the landing and goes, "Where are the stairs?" And a construction company that was doing work, and it was supposed to be on like a carport in the complex, accidentally demoed the stairs to their landing.
Oh, no.
And that's how he meets Charlotte, his across the way neighbor, who is in hiding from a stalker who's been stalking her for the last 2 years. And
God.
they start up a little banter and they're both cute and they spend like the whole weekend together. Because this happens, of course, on a Friday and the crew can't get there till Monday. So they basically spend the entire weekend together. They fall for each other. The stairs go in on Monday and then her stalker shows up and she beats the crap out of him and like, it's amazing and wonderful. And then they're living together and it's really cute. That's it. It's really cute. Short, like less than 100 pages.
Oh, wow. That is short.
It's a short story. It was like one of those, it's not part of a collection of Amazon short stories, but it is an Amazon original short story. It was adorable.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it. But that is everything that I read in the month of March. I did promise you some stats. So in the month of March, I purchased 41 books. We listen and we don't judge, friends. Many of these were things ordered in other months that arrived now, but they count now, and I'm going to judge myself now. Only 7 of them were by authors of color. I hold that. Only 7 of them. And only 6 of them were queer stories. So of the books purchased so far this year, 36.87% of them were by authors of color and 14.37% of them are queer stories. So I'm going to work on that. I have to be very cognizant about that. And we'll see where that goes. You can check out the February haul book on the YouTube. That is I will make sure that it's there by the time this episode airs.
Yes.
And follow along for everything that I will be reading in April. Bye.
Bye.
Jace Reads Romance is a 3 Paws Productions podcast. Produced by Seffi, edited by Michael Achenbach. Our theme song is written and performed by Diana Weishauer. For show notes and more, head to www.jacereadsromance.com. That's JAYCE Reads Romance. Follow us on socials at Jace Reads Romance everywhere. For more exclusive content, visit us on Substack, where you'll find extended episodes, bonus episodes, and more. Have a question, story, or book recommendation you know I'll love? Email Jace at jacereadsromance.com or call and leave a voicemail at 661-JACE-RR. That's 661-529-2377. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. And as always, this is Jace, holding space for you.